Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a video that I really didn't want to do. It's not because I don't like the game I'm about to discuss. It's the fact that it's so divisive. Like, if you like the game, people shit on you. If you don't like the game, people shit on you. I'm not the most popular channel, so hopefully trolls will be minimal. I don't have the energy to deal with trolls. I'm already dealing with this terrible quarantine haircut. So today we'll be discussing my opinions about The Last of Us 2. Sorry if I'm really awkward. I usually don't do these filming videos. That's why I usually record behind the camera, especially during the quarantine, so you don't see my awful quarantine haircuts. So, yeah. So, there will be spoilers, but for you that just want my opinion without the game being spoiled for you, if you're an adult, you have an open mind, violence in video games doesn't affect you because the violence is really visceral. I think that you should give it a shot if you like survival horror mixed with a pinch of Uncharted. This is the most satisfying style of guerrilla warfare I've ever played in a video game. Like, if this wasn't a story-based game, like just based on the gameplay alone, like it would still probably be like an 8.5 if I had to put a number score on it. I know number scores are irrelevant, but so are opinions. Like, everybody's opinions relative to whatever they enjoy. Just giving you my 2 cents. The graphics, this is the most beautiful game I've ever seen on the PlayStation 4 console. I played it on the PlayStation 4 Pro. It runs at 30 frames per second. If you play it on the base console, it runs at 1080p. If you run it on the PlayStation 4 Pro, it runs at 1440p. The HDR is actually the best implementation I've ever seen of HDR in a PlayStation game. Like, I was starting to think like maybe I was colorblind and I wasn't seeing the HDR or my TV wasn't good enough. This game proved to me that not only could I see HDR, but my TV was good enough. And it's an absolutely fantastic experience. There are flaws. I will be discussing that in the spoiler section because there's no way to discuss the flaws without being in the spoiler section. The narrative of the game like breaks up at a certain point, and I feel like that hurts the game. I won't get into details, but I recommend you at least checking it out. Alright, now with the spoilers. Oh, before the spoilers, one more thing. I would not suggest you play this game until you finish The Last of Us 2. I mean the first Last of Us Remastered, or even the PlayStation 3 version. Although I would suggest to play the remastered version because it does run at a silky smooth 60 frames per second at 1080p, where the original, the frame rate went under 30 sometimes, and it runs at 720p. So if you can play the better version, I will. But if you're debating on playing The Last of Us 2, you probably already have a PlayStation 4. And I believe the PlayStation Network gave The Last of Us Remastered for free in 1 month. So yeah, like, you should be set as far as that goes, or you could get it dirt cheap. Like, it's 20 bucks, and that's one of the games I've actually seen a lot of. And based on the decisiveness, you should find The Last of Us 2 fairly early as well. But I think that if you play The Last of Us 2 without playing The Last of Us 1, you'll still get enjoyment out of it, but story-wise, things won't mean much to you. So anyway, let's get on with the story of The Last of Us 2. Basically, this takes place, I believe, 4 years after. Every once in a while, the story flips back and forth. Again, this is spoiler, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. Alright. So the game starts out in Jackson with Ellie. You're like in this utopian like almost like society as much as you can get out of a post-apocalyptic world. You're like snowball fighting with kids. They actually have electricity. Everybody's working. The people around the village go out of the village and scout for, I believe they're called cordyceps, which are like the fungus version of zombies. And you basically go on missions and stuff like that. Everything's allotted to different people. They call them runs. Very similar to what you've seen on The Walking Dead, where they get supplies, yada yada yada. So anyway, they're going about their lives. Everything's happy. Ellie's like starting to get close to this girl Dina, which eventually develop a relationship with. She just broke up with her boyfriend. Forgive me, I can't think of the name. I tried to write down everybody's name and I forgot to write down the dude's name because I'm terrible with names unless it's a dog. I remember the dog, and the main dog in this game's name is Alice. That's how ridiculous I am. So anyway, so at some point, like, these people come into the village. Joel's trying to help them, whatnot. And this one character named Abby holds down Ellie. They beat the shit out of both of them. And she proceeds to bust Joel's head in with a golf club until he's dead. The whole time you're watching this, you're hoping that there's a chance that Joel's going to survive. But it's pretty visceral, brutal, and you're pretty positive by the end of it that he's dead for good. He's not going to show up later in the game. See, the first game, it's always like, I don't know, even though it was like a shitty world, which this takes place in, I never felt like any of the main characters were really in danger. Where, like, when Joel gets killed, like, all bets are off. Anybody could possibly die. They do it right in front of Ellie as she's being held down. She got the shit beat out of, pistol whipped, held down. They're gonna kill Ellie. They stopped. They let them go. I mean, they let Ellie go, and then they leave. And, like, Ellie flips the fuck out, like, she's fucking determined to kill this Abby character. Later on you find out that at the end of the first game, the doctor, one of the doctors that you kill is actually Abby's father, and that fucks her up, which makes her want to kill Joel. And for the next 4 years, that's like been her mission. So you play as Abby a little bit in the beginning, and then for a good 9 hours or so, you play as Ellie. Ellie is fucking vicious. She's quick, she's small, she can fit through small areas, she's quiet, she can like fucking kill people instantly. She has a switchblade, you don't have to craft shivs and all this stuff. If you're familiar with The Last of Us, there's quadriceps, there's looting, all that good stuff. You construct new weapons, you upgrade your weapons, pretty much the basics of the first game, but way more refined. I will say fighting the quadriceps or the zombies aren't as fun as fighting the enemies. The enemies are some of the smartest AI or whatever routes they program in. Is the smartest I've ever seen. Like, they flank you like nobody's business. This game tries to drive home like the violence and the cost of revenge. Everybody in the game has a name. Everybody dies in a realistic way. As violent as Mortal Kombat is, in Mortal Kombat, a lot of times is gorier, but it's cartoonish. This is really realistic. It looks like Tom Savini or somebody did the gore on this game. Like, it looks real. Like, when you stab somebody, their blood actually pours out and like follows like a little trail. So Ellie, every kill that Ellie does, like, you feel it. You feel that Ellie's breaking. Every person she interrogates and beats to death, you feel, you know that she's snapping. You know that she's broken. At the end of the first Last of Us, you could kind of tell that Joel and Ellie's relationship was going to be strained, and it was. I don't know why people feel like the first game had a happy ending, because it didn't. You kind of felt, at least I did, and I guess it's open for interpretation, that shit was going to go down, and it did go down. A lot of people are angry that Joel was killed. Like, I loved the first Last of Us. I finished it once, or maybe twice on the PlayStation 3. I finished it once on the PlayStation 4, so I probably finished it 3 times. Then I finished this game once, so it's still fresh in my head. I finished it yesterday of this recording, and basically, if they didn't kill Joel and they killed like some random, like, newly introduced non-playable character, I don't think you would give as much of a fuck about Ellie's revenge. I don't think you'd feel Ellie's pain as much. This is why you need to play the first game before you play the second game. I just don't think you'd have the same emotional impact when Ellie has flashbacks where Joel's like trying to do like nice things, or Joel teaches her how to play the guitar and stuff like that, and then Ellie knows how to play the guitar and she's playing songs that obviously Joel taught her about. Ellie can swim now. If you remember in the first game, Ellie didn't know how to swim. He had to take like little pallets in the water and like make little trails so she could walk across and stuff like that. So Joel's in spirit in this game, not only through flashbacks, but through the little things that Ellie does. And Ellie kind of knows that like Joel would never want her to go through this shit, but she's just so determined. She's willing to break like all her relationships. She's breaking as a person. She's like killing people and then having nervous breakdowns because she can't believe she did that. Like, her hands are shaking. She's going through like post-traumatic stress disorder. Her and Joel's relationship was kind of strained because she's having survivor's guilt, because eventually Joel like lets on why he killed those people and why he lied to her, because he said they were just performing tests to Ellie and stuff like that when the first game ended, when in reality they were going to have to kill her to create a vaccine. And she feels like her life didn't have purpose anymore. That was her goal, because Ellie's, if you're not familiar, Ellie is the only person that's immune. Abby's father, I don't know his name offhand, he was like the only person apparently that knew how to extract this, whatever, like the antibodies that she had or whatever. So anyway, like, Ellie follows Abby trail or whatever. They go to like this theater. Dina's ex, like Ellie and Dina go to this theater. They go on this journey together until Ellie finds out that Dina's pregnant, because she starts to get morning sickness and stuff like that. And then eventually Dina's ex-boyfriend, I can't think of his name, he's a really cool character, like I'm bad, like I remember the dog's name's Alice, and I have a list right here, names, I just forgot to add his. But basically, Joel's brother Tommy, he's also off like trying to find like Joel's killer Abby, and basically they stay at this theater and they kind of like map out where Abby's been and all this stuff, and then Dina's boyfriend shows up and he helps out, and there's some amazing action set pieces and all of this stuff. And eventually Ellie finds out that that Abby's held up at an aquarium, and they're like in Seattle. It's amazingly animated. Like, it reminds me of a kid being in a storm, being through hurricanes and stuff like that. And when she's like in the like on her way to the aquarium on the boat, and the waves are crashing, and it's like hell on earth, and it's so visceral, and Ellie's so broken, and she's covered in grime and blood and mud, and it's, you could just tell like this is like her only moment. And then she ends up going there. Abby isn't there. She interrogates two of Abby's friends. She finds out that one of the friends are pregnant. That makes her have a nervous breakdown. Tommy and Dina's ex-boyfriend, they eventually find her, and they're just like, now that we've found Tommy and everything, let's just go home. Dina's pregnant, she needs help and all this stuff. So they go back to the theater. During like Ellie's breakdown, for whatever reason, she left the map, so then Abby finds it and then tracks her, and then shoots Dina's boyfriend in the head. Basically fucks up Tommy pretty bad, and then it basically switches to Abby's perspective. This is probably how the game should have started. It starts when Abby was a kid and how she finds out that her father died. That's all we actually needed to know. But for the next, say, about let's just be generous and say 10 hours or whatever, you play as Abby. Their goal is to try to make you sympathetic for Abby's cause. The problem is that she's not written very well. The gameplay itself, it's fine. She plays a lot like Joel. Abby has to create shivs and stuff like that. She's more of a brute. She's been basically working out like for 4 years, like waiting for the day that she kills Joel. But the whole theme of this is like the price of revenge. And the problem with Abby is not only are you forced to play as her in order to finish the game, but she's the person that killed Joel, so you have to be like a freaking genius to try to write her in a way that makes her a redeemable character. Because if you're playing The Last of Us 2, the odds are you loved the first game and you loved Joel and Ellie's relationship, and Abby destroyed that. And Abby doesn't seem to be affected by even her dad's death that much. It's like she'll just be living like her regular life and everything, and then she'll randomly bring up something about Joel, but she doesn't have that broken obsessiveness that Ellie has. Like, it's like one of her friends gets shot. She's like over it, it seems like, in 15 minutes. It's like she doesn't give a fuck. She's more worried about like this person, Owen, that was like her boyfriend, and she's apparently kind of like pushed him away because she's so obsessed with Joel, but it's never conveyed that way because she never comes off as broken the way Ellie does. She just comes off as like just this overachiever soldier. I think the character model is a little off, but I think I know why they might have made her super buff and everything, which I'll get into like further on. This video is all over the place, I apologize. So basically this, when you play as Abby after she finds out her dad dies or whatever, you basically play after she leaves Joel, and like she achieved her goal, and like she doesn't say anything about it really, except for maybe a couple of things. She's not like broken, she's not crying, she's not having a nervous breakdown because of the visceralness. It's like the revenge didn't even pay off for her. Like, she has like no emotion. The only empathy that she shows in the game, which are better written characters, are for Yara and Lev. See, Abby's part of this militia group, the Wolves, who constantly fight this religious group. The Scars are the Seraphites, I think is what I wrote. I wrote it so poorly I can't even read it, and I don't have my glasses. And basically, they're like at war with each other all the time. Like this religious cult, like they have like this lady that's like their prophet or whatever, who had all this stuff that was supposedly positive that she said, and apparently it got twisted and construed. They're really scared of electricity, except elevators and guns and stuff like that. Like, and they make a comment about it, like they make exceptions for soldiers. So basically, Yara and Lev are like siblings. Yara was a female who happened to shave her head because she was going to be in an arranged marriage and whatever, and he wanted to be a boy, so I can't remember what Yara's original name was, but it's kind of hinted upon. She's like, or he's like, did you hear what they called me? And Abby's like, yeah. And then Yara's like, do you want to talk about it? She's like, only if you do. And then Yara's like, I don't. That was it. That's all that was covered. So for whatever reason, because Lev is the person that shaved their head. Yara is the sister. So whatever reason, Yara tries to protect Lev, and they end up smashing her arm with a hammer, which basically is its own thing. So anyway, the religious group like thinks of everybody as sinners. The reason why all these zombies are around is because the world is being punished, and then the wolves are trying to clear them out. They have this pact where like the Scars stay on their island and they don't interfere with anything, and they're breaking the rules and killing each other, and there's like this whole little mini war. So eventually they get a hold of Abby and go to hang her, and basically they like Lev and Yara save Abby, and Abby like helps them escape because they saved Abby's life. And then Abby goes away. Abby's having nightmares. Abby goes back. Abby goes to save them, which is the only redeeming thing about Abby. And really the only thing that makes it redeeming is just because Yara and Lev are really likable characters. They're well written. Abby doesn't give a shit about anybody but herself, and I don't know, she's just a shitty person, more or less. She's like that overachiever in high school that probably would try to make you feel like a piece of shit non-stop with their nose stuck up in the air. She doesn't, like, they're trying to make her seem like she's obsessed about her father, where she's willing to go and kill Joel, but she's just so indifferent about everything. And some people claim that she's more relatable than Ellie, but like she's killing people all the time and she doesn't think anything about it, where you see Ellie and Ellie's like fucking broken. So you go on like, you like take them back to the aquarium. I believe that Yara ends up having like, I believe it's called compartmental syndrome or compartment syndrome. Basically her bones are shattered in her arm, and if she doesn't get like proper medical attention, her arm's going to like get gangrenous, and basically she'll go into septic shock and die. So then you have to work your way to the hospital. That level's kind of cool because you go to basically ground zero of where the infection started, and there's like this huge boss fight, and it's epic, and that part was awesome. Not because of Abby. Abby sucks. And like I don't know. Let me just continue. So then you go back. Yara ends up being okay. Owen and Mel, which is the pregnant lady that Ellie killed earlier in the game, but since this takes place a little bit before. And another thing, like, it would have been cool, like, when you're playing as Abby, if you could hear, like, or see some of the more damage that, like, Ellie did, like, while you were going through everything. Like, they did that in Resident Evil 6. I know a lot of people don't like that game. I actually like it quite a bit. I like it more than 5 and 4. You can hate me, and that probably makes my opinion about this game null and void saying that. But what was cool about that game is that, like, off in the distance you would see, like, things that you did and other missions and other campaigns, like, going on at the same time. It would have been cool if you saw some of that. That would have been a really cool creative touch. That never really happened. The only person you come across that you saw at the same time as Abby is when you were Ellie. You saw, like, Tommy sniping people, and you lived through that. By the way, one of Abby's friends gets shot in the head, and she, like, cares for, like, 3 minutes, and it's whatever. It's no longer. She only cares when there needs to be, like, some sort of pivotal dramatic moment. So anyway, she gets the supplies, she comes back, and then Owen and Mel want to take Yara and Levy to Santa Barbara, because apparently there's Fireflies, which was, like, the original group that I guess the wolves eventually turned into. That was the original group that you were trying to find to take Ellie to, where they were going to perform the surgery and stuff like that. So there's, like, this rumor. And then Mel goes to Abby, which I don't know if it's hinted at, or like, I was really just wanting, at this point I was like over 20 hours in, and I feel like that's as long as the game needed to be. Not that it's a bad game, it just felt a little long in the tooth. Like, they wanted to be more ambitious, but I feel like they failed on all levels with trying to make Abby a compassionate character. You'd have to do, like, some insane writing to make me want to continue to play as Abby. She's not even, in my opinion, as fun to play as Ellie. Because Ellie's just so visceral and nimble and quick, where, like, Abby's like Joel, where she's kind of slow and brooding, and then she's not even that likable because she's not sympathetic, or, like, you don't feel for her because she doesn't really get upset when she kills people. Like, her whole journey of revenge, it feels like there is no payoff. It doesn't really feel like there was a drive before. It's just, she's upset when she needs to be. But anyway, Lev wants to go back because, like, basically the Scars cult, and they nicknamed them Scars because they have scars from their ears to their mouths to signify that, like, I guess, like, the flesh is vulnerable, so like the spirit is, or whatever. One thing you need to know when you play this game is, like, if you rush through it, you're gonna miss so much. There's so many conversations, especially about Joel, the world, and everything, that if you don't go into certain buildings or read certain papers, these conversations won't activate, and you, like, learn so much about the world. That's one thing I will say that's positive about Abby's campaign. It's not a bad campaign. It just went from, this is one of the most groundbreaking and touching games I've ever played, to, I feel like I'm playing a video game about a character I don't really care about, with really good mechanics, with some cool moments. So basically, like, if your kids leave and you're in this cult or whatever, they'll punish you it's kind of like this fear tactic to like keep everybody in line so nobody like takes off or whatever. Everybody gets punished. If the kids come back and they did something wrong, in order for the mom to live, she's gonna have to kill her kids, etc., etc. Yar kind of explains this to Abby, so they go back to the village. They find out that Abby's own group, the wolves, are going against her. Abby's already AWOL, so the wolves are against her. So they go on this epic thing. Unfortunately, Yar gets shot. Abby doesn't give a shit. Lev gives a shit. Like, she's having a nervous breakdown and crying and shit like that. And Abby's just like, whatevs. She like seems upset for 1 second because the story needs her to be. And then she like instantly forgets about it. So there's this cool sequence in the village. It's on fire and everything. It's just like, am I playing the same game? I don't even know anymore. And then once you go back, you discover everything that Ellie did at the aquarium. And then Abby and Lev go back to the theater. And then Abby shoots Dina's boyfriend and fucks up Tommy, like I said. And then it switches to Ellie in present time. All of a sudden the game feels important again. So it goes to the future a little bit. Dina's given birth to a kid and she's trying to live the best life she can. She's having like post-traumatic stress disorder, survivor's guilt still. She's trying to function, but she's having flashbacks to Joel's head getting crushed in. She can't quite let it go despite the best that she can try, and you kind of get a taste of like what Abby's life is like. I mean, like what Ellie's life is like, herding sheep, taking care of the baby and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of the ending of Uncharted 4, where you kind of like at the end where you kind of see like what their life in the beginning of the game too. You see what their life is like when they're not adventuring. So eventually Tommy comes back. You can tell like he has like neurological damage because I believe he was shot in the head or through the eye or something. But like his leg's fucked up and like he's like missing an eye. And he's like still obsessed over Joel. Ellie's trying to keep it on a down low, but she's having constant panic attacks and all this shit. And she's struggling to function, and Dina's like, we can't do this anymore. Ellie's like, I can't do this anymore, because the last time they saw Abby, like, she could have killed Ellie again, and she's just like, don't ever let me see you again. And that's when they went their various ways, and apparently they're supposed to forget everything that happened. But then Tommy comes and he's just like, hey, I got a lead. This is where she's at. And he's showing her a map of Santa Barbara. And then Dina like tries to kick Tommy out of the house. And he's just like, oh, you're just going to sit here being comfortable? I guess like trying to guilt trip her and all this stuff. And then Ellie can't let go. And she wakes up in the middle of the night and gets her shit together, and Dina's like, if you go, I might not be here anymore. And she's like, well, that's just gonna have to be the choice you take. Ellie is fucking broken. Ellie is hurting throughout this whole fucking game, and that's something that you never see from Abby. Abby is not a redeemable character because Abby's poorly written, in my opinion, and she just doesn't give a shit. Everything that she does that's horrible, like, it doesn't even seem like she wanted to kill Joel that bad until she saw Joel. Like, she just mentions it when it's appropriate for the story. Now, it is fun to watch her and Levy interact with one another, but that's because Levy's a really well written character and a cool character and a fun character. So, you play as Abby a little bit more as they're looking for the Fireflies, and this gang comes and kidnaps them, and then it switches to Ellie. Ellie's like, I have to drop everything. This is the most important thing. I'm tired of not being able to sleep at night. I'm tired of this shit haunting me all the time. So Ellie goes to Santa Barbara and finds this group and basically fucking like wrecks everyone because she's fucking done. Like, this is like, she said like her life had like no meaning. Like, this is the new meaning, is her getting revenge for Joel, which she knows that Joel would never want that for her. And so she ends up killing pretty much everybody. I guess it depends on how you play it. I killed everybody. And then they're like, yeah, Abby tried to escape. She's probably at the post, if she's even alive. So when I went back to say, like, maybe she's muscular for a reason, you like see Abby in the most vulnerable state. She's like tied up to a post and she's emancipated. Like, she's super thin. Like, her skin's peeling all off from like sunburn and everything. And Ellie cuts her down, as well as Levy, or Lev. Do they even call her Levy? Do they even call him Levy in the game? Like, I don't even know. I apologize for not using the proper pronouns. But anyway, it's not on purpose. It's just because I'm trying to talk really fast. I'm not trying to be disrespectful of this fictional character. But anyway, so like, she's trying to escape with Levy. Like, Ellie's wounded really bad because at one point, like, Ellie like got stuck in a trap and like got stabbed in her side, and I guess it penetrated her intestine. She sewed it up and everything. I should have mentioned that earlier, but I didn't. Oh well, moving on. So Ellie's like, I can't let you leave. And as much as people get angry, like, Ellie fucks Abby up bad. Like, Abby's already weak. Like, Ellie's like stabbing the shit out of her. Ellie gets her fingers bit off, but before that, like, Ellie goes to Lev. Like, Ellie's turning into like this kind of evil person that's like willing to do whatever it takes at all costs, and puts a knife to Levy's throat and says, like, if you're not gonna fight me, then I'll kill her. And like, Abby's like, leave her out of this. And in a way, it kind of parallels to earlier in the game when Ellie and Joel, apparently Joel did some bad shit that we don't know about. It's kind of referenced a lot in the first game, where he's like, you don't know me, when he doesn't want to get close to Ellie. And you have to remember too, like, he was reluctant to even give Ellie a gun for a good portion of the game because he just didn't want that kind of life for her. Like, Ellie was his second chance at life. Like, Joel was pretty much broken. He was like a smuggler. He was like kind of like the Han Solo of the Last of Us universe, except more broken. And apparently he did some really bad stuff that they don't really go into detail, except for killing all those people in the hospital. But like, Joel's like, I would do it again every time I played it in my head to save you. But they never really got to say like they loved each other. Anyway, so like, so Ellie's basically kind of turning into Abby, except way more broken and way better written. And Ellie was like 1 second away from like killing Abby. Like, she was being drowned, and then she saw a flash of Joel in her head, because not only would Joel not want that kind, and this is kind of like interpretation, by the way, this is my interpretation, not only would she not want, like, Joel wouldn't want that kind of life for Ellie. Like, sorry, she saw Joel and Abby for a quick second, because Abby's become the guardian of Lev, basically. So then Ellie gets up, she's like, get out of here. and then they get on their boats and they go the separate way. Ellie's so fucked up, emotionally scratched. She killed all these people, went through all this shit, lost all her friends, lost everything. Because she couldn't move on and live her life. She goes back to an empty house. Dina left. She tries to play the guitar. She's missing her fingers. Like, she lost everything. Like, Ellie's story is like so compelling and so emotional, and then she has a flashback of Joel essentially asking for forgiveness, trying to tell her life's important. And this happened pretty soon before he got killed. He was like, he like approved of like her and Dina's possible relationship at the time, but they never got to say they care or love each other. It's just like, she's like, I can't forgive you for what you did at that hospital. She's like, but I want to try to. And he's like, I'd like that. And then she's like, see you around. But they never got to say that they care or love each other. And I think that's another thing that's subtle, but it's eating away at Ellie. And you could tell how much like Joel really loved Ellie and stuff like that. And even though Joel's dead, not only through the flashbacks, like what he did for her birthday, or like the missions they went on together, you could tell they really cared about each other. But then it's like I said, like, Ellie knows how to swim, Ellie knows how to play the guitar, Ellie talks about Joel all the time. You could care about her. Like, you could tell that he cared about her and she cared about him. Sorry, I'm talking really fast. When she goes to Santa Barbara, she puts on Joel's jacket, or at least I think that was Joel's jacket. And it's just like, she lost everything. She not only lost Joel, this is like the most emotional game I've played possibly ever. And just the whole Abby thing is like, they could have told the Abby story in the beginning of the game when she was a kid, and then just stuck with Ellie and took 10 hours out of the game. Yeah, you're getting more bang for your buck, but narrative wise, like, if it just stuck with Ellie throughout the whole game, I feel like it would have been more powerful. Because I think there's a certain point of the game where you start to forget what game that you're playing. And like I said, like, Abby is not a redeemable character. Maybe have just the part with like the kids and stuff like that through random flashbacks that are really quick, but they should have never taken away from Ellie's narrative, because you feel Ellie breaking every second of the game. You feel Joel and Joel's loss every second of the game, and you feel the price of like what it's costing Ellie. And then you see somebody who just doesn't give a shit, and she feels like she was just like pushed in last minute as a playable character. I'm sure they probably had this planned. Like, when I saw the trailer and the way it was done, like, I hypothesized a long time ago that I think Joel's dead. So I think they had that planned from the start. I just don't know exactly how they were going to execute it, but they did not need that much Abby gameplay. Like, the only thing I got out of the gameplay is how much I like the dog Alice, and I legit felt bad that I had to kill Alice at one point, which is the German Shepherd that the main German Shepherd that goes on missions. But the gameplay's on point and everything. But that's my opinion about the story. I know it's not the story that everybody wanted to be told. Everybody kind of, I think, had an idea of where the story was going. But honestly, if it was the same exact story like Last of Us 1.5, it wouldn't have the impact. If they didn't kill Joel, knowing that you were going to play as Ellie, and it was just like, for instance, if it was Dina, like, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have felt the pain. I wouldn't feel Ellie breaking as much. But spending the amount of time I did in The Last of Us 1 and feeling the hurt in The Last of Us 2, like, the impacts there. But it's a great game, but there's going to be 10 hours where you're just going to feel like you're playing a regular game and you're going to be like, this isn't as good as I thought it was. But then the minute it switches back to Ellie, it feels like you're playing like something important and amazing in gameplay wise. And this is the first game, gameplay and narrative wise, this is like one of those things that when they debate whether games or art are a legitimate way of storytelling, this could be an example. But like that Abby portion and the way she was written and the way that she just doesn't seem to like carry the hurt with her, even when she was allegedly obsessed with like killing Joel. Like, Ellie's story is the only one that essentially needed to be told. That was the important story, and that's all we needed. Like, they cut the 10 hours out and it was like a 20-hour game. I would say it was a 9.5, but if I had to give it a numeric score, but it's like a 8.5 to 9. This could have been the best game on the PlayStation 4 of all time in many ways. Some of the things it does is the best that's ever been done in my opinion. But just narrative wise, like, that should almost have been like DLC or something. It just almost feels tacked on. There's cool moments and everything, but the only thing that makes it worth it are the relationship with those two kids that you have. And I don't know, like, I just Abby's like just a selfish character, and she wasn't redeemable before. She wasn't really all that likable before. And in order to sympathize with her, you would have to write her in a way to show that she was as broken as Ellie, and she never felt that way. She just felt like she just needed to do what she needed to do after she was done killing Joel. There was like no payoff. She just mentioned it casually. He just got what he deserved, and that was it. No real nightmares, nothing about her father dying the way that Ellie's haunted, and it's just not the same. So yeah, like, I'd say 8.5, 9. Everybody's like, it's impossible to give a game a 10. It's not impossible to give it a 10 if you personally don't see any flaws with it. Like, that's your opinion. But like, I don't know, like, I'm conflicted. Maybe if I play it again, I'll feel better since I know where everything's going. There's no way that you can experience this game through leaks, through watching videos on YouTube, unless you watch a playthrough that's 30 hours long where they're looking through every single thing. There are so many things that are revealed through gameplay and just playing the game. The visceralness of you're in control, you're actively doing the killing and stuff like that. There's a lot of interaction and stuff. There's so many aspects of this game that you can't experience if you just watch a YouTube video or read like a spoiler, like you read all the spoilers or watch all the cutscenes online, because a lot of it's revealed through gameplay. A lot of the visceralness is felt through gameplay because you're actively the one that's doing it in a way. Like, it's kind of fucked up, but you kind of feel as cold-blooded as Ellie when you're playing the game. But it's just like, it's because like they killed like your favorite character, they killed Ellie's guardian. You see how broken Ellie is, you see all her scars, all her bruises, everything, and it's just Abby, it's just not the same. But it's a fantastic game, and I feel like it's definitely worth checking out. I encourage you to have your own opinion. I understand if you don't play the game. I won't judge you or whatever. I just ask, if you didn't play the game, I'm asking you guys to do something. Like, don't talk like you've put in the time to like have a legit full opinion, because there's things that you can't experience unless you've played the game, in my opinion. But yeah, you can do what you want. But if you don't like the game, you don't like it. I can see why you wouldn't like it. why it would put you off, but I feel like this is an important game personally. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this wasn't too awkward. I hope it wasn't too painful to look at my quarantine haircut. Maybe it was funny. I know I'm like awkward on these videos with not looking into the camera, looking to the corner, because I forget like the camera, looking at the camera makes it look like I'm looking at you. It's just so weird. I need to like cut out a face and put it on top of the camera. Thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to at least try it out and be open-minded, but if you don't, that's fine. Please don't trash me or anyone else who either likes or dislikes the game. Like, have constructive criticism. Like, don't sound like an asshole. Like, that shouldn't be too difficult. But anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I don't know what the next video is going to be. I don't think I, at least anytime soon, will record any of The Last of Us. I might show the picture showing how much time I put in, just to prove that I put the time in, because I think a lot of people aren't putting the time in that are talking about this game. But yeah, I think this might be the last time, at least for a while, that I'll talk about The Last of Us 2, because it's just such a divisive game, and I don't know, like, I just don't want to get into debates. I really was reluctant to make this video. I didn't really want to make it, but I was so enthusiastic about how I felt about this game. I felt like I would be doing my personal channel a disservice if I didn't at least talk about it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you kept an open mind when you watched this, and even if you don't agree with me, you can at least talk to me civil about it, and I will treat you with the same amount of respect. Thank you so much. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe! Thanks for watching!